Okay, so you have signed up with the educator student development pack, whatever thing, and now you verified you have a free account that has private repos. You've gone to create a new repo or repository. You've set it to private unless you're choosing to do public and be an awesome open source developer, but you can always start private for now. You've created this thing, and you're now ready to back your code up on Git. So let's open up Cloud9 and get ready to do this. Before I walk through the steps on Cloud9, there is a settings tab here if you own this repository. I don't. I'm a guest on this one. And in the settings, you can enable GitHub to analyze your code to look for vulnerabilities. You want to enable that. That's a very helpful service that GitHub has, but you need to tell them that it's cool for them to do a read-only scan of your code. And that'll be in the settings. Look for that. Right, so the first thing that we want to take a look at is our Git Ignore file. Flaskini came with one, so you should already have this in your system, and it's pretty darn simple. It ignores your PyCache folder, so the things that Python builds automatically. It ignores .idea files, which are common for if you're using a different IDE than what we're using. If you're using something called PyCharm, we're not. And then private.py, because our private.py file, which has your encryption information, should never be added to a Git repo. We'll manually bring that over to our deployment server because that file gets extra special, super delicate treatment. Okay, bonus points if you also Googled what I should add to a Python Git Ignore file and also added those things into your Git Ignore. But really, don't worry about it so much because once you have that there, we are now ready to get started here. And you want to make sure that if you press LS, you're inside your project folder because this is going to be what Git is going to be tracking. And Git is a version control system, VCS. It will detect any changes you make to any of your files and track each version of your app. It'll allow you to bookmark versions, go back to previous commits or versions of your app. It's very, very helpful. Almost everyone uses Git to track. There are other version control systems out there besides Git, but Git is by far and away the most popular version control system. Alright, so now that you know you're in the right folder, our first command is git init. So initialize Git in this folder. Dun 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 dun, git init. Alright, and we're there. That's pretty easy. So now, next step is to add all of the things that are not being ignored by Git Ignore file. So that's git add and then just the dot. So add everything, and it's going to work for a second and add a whole bunch of stuff into this log. Cool. Now git commit -m for our message, and this is our initial commits. All right, so we booked all of this stuff into our settings, and we can see we still have some X minimal. This folder should be deleted. Yeah, all of this stuff was just a learning experiment. That's why we put an X in front of it. So I'm going to delete this, and then I will git add the changes, git commit -m, removed temp folder, and there we go. So now extract those deletions from our project. Okay, so tidy that up a little bit. And so we've git init, we've git add, we've git commit. Now we're ready to push. I don't see any of this code up here. So how do I get this code up here? I need to connect this remote to the app. So the way that this will work is Git Remote Add origin. So that says I want to connect to a server. I need to add it, and it's going to be called origin. That's typically just what you name the first route, your first remote. And then it needs the path to that origin. which is just this this link that you have. So we're going to paste that. And now we've added it. So our next thing is to send the code through this remote. All this bundle code that I just had. So I'll do git push. And what am I pushing? I'm pushing origin. So and what I'm pushing my master branch. And my username happens to be that's, and okay, it's sending all the code up to GitHub.
What?
There's quite a bit. What pictures do we have? I guess this is all the images they're using inside the uploaded static folder. That's got to be the only stuff of any size.
Music Docker as well.
It's pretty impressive.
Oh my god.
Okay, so the push finally finished. That means this folder, once I refresh it, I will now see all of my code. And so this is, but I don't see my private.py file here. So a lot of the secrets of this app are kept that way.